For the past few years, I've been using Fedora 25 on a Lenovo Yoga and recently a MacBook Pro. Although I had a chance to work with Windows 10 on two Lenovo laptops, I erased the SSD and used Fedora Linux exclusively on that system. Recently I installed a new 1TB SSD that allowed me to dual boot into both Fedora, Linux, and Windows 10. The latest updates for Windows 10 has made it a much more qualitative user experience when compared to Windows 8 and even Windows 7. Here's some reasons I like Windows and a few reasons I dislike Windows. First, Windows has incredibly clear and crisp font rendering on a high DPI display. Not only are the fonts clear, but the entire interface is clean and sharp with no watery or soft look. Although some of the older dialog boxes or applications do not render well when compared to the newer ones, for the most part everything is extremely sharp, better even than macOS or Linux. Although Microsoft has worked hard on this, there are still some old dialogs that look the same as they did in Windows XP and still render just as poorly. Additionally, there are still a few applications that do not scale correctly, such as VLC or GIMP. This is less of a failing on the operating system and more so on the designers of the afflicted applications. The original store in Windows 8 and 8.1 and in the initial release of Windows 10 was plagued with errors downloading and installing software. We were lucky if it worked even half the time. With the recent anniversary update and many of the newer updates that were released, the store experience has improved immensely. The app selection, although still small compared to Apple or Android, has increased to supply at least the expected apps as well as a few surprises. Application installation and launching is made very simple comparatively. Microsoft still has a lot of work to do in app support if they hope to be a real contender to Apple or Android. What Windows 10 lacks in apps, it makes up in the interface. Users can still easily switch between desktop mode and tablet mode. Combined with a Lenovo Yoga or a similar 360 system, the user can easily enter tablet mode and manage and use apps seamlessly. The Snap to feature is intuitive and easy to use and learn, and provides quick access to applications. Sadly, tablet mode is hurt by an inconsistent virtual keyboard that only pops up for some apps or dialogues. This makes it difficult to type in something as simple as a URL into Firefox. The same task is easily completed, for example, in Microsoft Edge. Given the advances and awesome UI improvements, what is there not to like about Windows 10? For starters, Windows Update is still a disaster. The code base for Windows Update hasn't been changed in decades and still can cause major inconvenience at shutdown or even when booting up after the update. Microsoft has indicated that we'll be changing Windows Update in the near future to only download those updates that are necessary. This should reduce the amount of data that is sent as well as reduce install and reboot time. Windows, however, doesn't hold a candle to the granular design in most popular Linux releases. Updates are applied one by one while the user is logged in and working, and no restarts are required unless the kernel is updated. Unfortunately, privacy continues to be a real concern for users of Windows 10. There are many settings users have to click through, and some can be downright confusing for the average user. Given that most won't even realize or understand how to change privacy settings, this can be a daunting task for some. Even if the settings are changed to protect privacy, there's no real guarantee that they are, because history has shown some information is still being sent to Microsoft. We just don't know what. Given the pros and cons, it's clear that Microsoft is shifting away quickly from software to service, and Windows 10 and Office are its premier offerings. Microsoft has made clear that Windows 10 is now a service and will regularly receive updates. It's likely this will be the last release of Windows we'll see for a long time, possibly forever. Much like OS X before it, Microsoft has decided evolutionary change to its operating system is preferable to releasing all new versions every few years. Let's just hope Microsoft doesn't follow Apple down the evolutionary road to stagnation. Given the advent of the new Surface style combined with Surface computers, Microsoft has created a paradigm shift in the user interface. Hopefully the originality in design will continue on for the foreseeable future. As always, thank you for watching, and to those of you that have subscribed and left some awesome comments. I hope you consider subscribing if you haven't already, and if you enjoyed this video, please take a moment and share it. Drop me a comment if you have some thoughts on the video, and I'll see you again soon.